Fix-It Dad here. Decided it's time to actually put up a video of me fixing something. A garbage disposal that needs to be replaced. Got a little bit of a head start on it before I started filming. But it's really something that's very simple to do if you need to do it. You really only need a couple of tools. In this case, a couple of screwdrivers, possibly a pair of wire strippers, a pair of regular pliers. The one thing that you have to remember when you start this is always unplug before you start doing anything with any electrical appliances. Now, the garbage disposal is attached to the sink with a pretty nifty little designed this fits in the sink. This goes underneath. This goes on. And then this ring, snap ring, snaps down into that spot right there. And then you screw these up to squeeze it down into the hole in the sink to make a good watertight seal. The old one, so I've already taken the old disposal out. But in this case, the old mount is rusted pretty badly, and two of the screws released, the third one wouldn't. So I have to get a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel and cut this screw off. But going back into the procedure for removing a disposal, an old disposal, you take loose the garbage disposal line, or the dishwasher line, which is usually just a hose clamp. And it's always good to have a little pan down here to catch any water drips that might come out of the disposal line. Then on the bottom ring here that's attached to the disposal, there are some little curled over rings right here that if the disposal is stuck, you can stick a screwdriver in there and give it a little jerk and pop it loose just like that. After you've removed the old disposal, down here on the bottom, there's a little metal plate. And this is standard on most disposals. But if you remove this screw, and remove the metal plate, you can get to where the wires for the disposal are. Now, you'll have a black and a white wire coming from the disposal, and then the one that goes to the wall gets put into this little clamp, and you bring it out, and it'll have three wires. It'll have the black, the white, and a green wire. And you'll see this green screw right here in the disposal, and that's where the green wire gets attached to. That's your ground. So now after most of the time you can reuse the wire that was in the disposal. So we put that back together. I've mounted the downspout here that's for the drain hookup And this one is going to have to be cut off a little bit so that it fits into the existing piping. In a new disposal, when you get one, this connection for the dishwasher will have a plug in it. And all you have to do to get that plug out is take a screwdriver and put it in there and either use your hand or a hammer and knock the plastic plug out. But then make sure you get it out of the disposal before you finish hooking it up. I just set this over out of the way. So we know that these two are already loose. And so I'm going to get the Dremel and we'll cut this other one off. Now in this little kit that I've got here, it has some fiber cutoff wheels, and these are what we're going to want to use to cut that metal bolt there. If your disposal is not in as bad a shape as this one was, you might just be able to unscrew the bolts and drop the old mount down. And actually, if your mount's in good shape and it's not rusty or ugly, you could just reuse that. If it's just the disposal that was bad. And there we have it, people. Now, after you've loosened those up, you take a flat tip screwdriver, you stick it up here, and you pop that ring off. It comes off just like that. And you drop pieces off. And remove the old ring out of the sink. Now, one of the things that's required is that it needs a plumber's putty to be around the part of this right here. I've already applied plumber's putty here. You can get it in a tub, or like what I did, I got a roll, which allows you to just put as much as you need around there, and it's a lot less messy than doing it the old-fashioned way. And you want to clean the old plumber's putty away from the sink. In this case, I was able to just use a flat tip screwdriver and just scrape a little bit. Then you take and place your new sink ring into the sink. You use the paper gasket. Then you slide up the triangle ring and the, I guess the tightener there. Slide that up on there so that you can get in and snap the new snap ring into place, which you kind of start on one side and just work it up around the edge so it snaps into place just like that. Now before we tighten this up, I like to make sure that the words are lined up in the right spot in the sink. Just make it look a little nicer. And then we hand tighten the screws. Hold down on it. Just give a little bit of pressure. Screw gun. By tightening that up evenly around the edge, it'll push out a little bit of the plumber's putty, and you can just go and rub your finger along the edge. And pull that off. As it sits, more will squeeze out as it settles into the spot that it's going to be, but you'll end up with just a little bit of extra putty squeezing out like that. Now in this case, I know that I'm going to have to cut off this down pipe. The ring on the guards disposal right here tightens on with these little nubs, and so you take and get your disposal seated up as tight as you can by hand. And then you tighten those up. Now we can see right here that we've got to cut about, oh, I'd say two inches off of that. So I put it up there and marked it. And I have a PVC saw that I will use to cut it off. After cutting that off, come back in and scrape around the inside with your screwdriver on the outside of the edge and on the inside of the edge, and remove any little furry plastic pieces there. Because anything like that that you leave on that edge of that plastic pipe will catch stuff and could cause a clog in the future. That nice and neat like that. Hang the pipe. Tighten up this compression ring right here. You can use the same method to tighten up the ring that you did to take it off, which is just put a screwdriver in it and wiggle it and put it right back up where it belongs. Last thing that we need to do here is hook the dishwasher line back up. Tighten up that clamp. Now we run some water, make sure that we don't have any leaks. Drips. Take the plug, plug the disposal into the switch. Now, some of them may not have this type of a setup. You may have just a switched plug. But in this case, the switch controls a little relay here. And we're running. There it is, people. Quick and easy. Thanks for watching. I hope to put up more videos soon. Like and subscribe. Thanks.